We are running through the top 5 stories at Comicbook.com at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is also 9 p.m. Atlantean in Comic Book Now. What's up, Comic Book Nation? Welcome to Comic Book Now. I'm your host, Brandon Davis. Please call me BD. Joined by Lucas Siegel.
Hi, that's me.
Looking so dapper today.
Let's give a shout out to Tyler Timothy. Hi,
Hey, Tyler Timothy. Lucas, how did you know that Tyler Timothy is commenting along?
I'm right here looking at the comments right now because we're going to answer your questions at the end of the show.
Sorry, I was doing my best Winona Ryder impression. We are going to run through the top 5 stories, and then we're going to get to the comment section. And we have a really cool episode of Major Issues, so we'll get to that. But how about the news first? Some good stuff. Our top story of the day is good news for DC fans just when they need it. Why do they need it? We'll get to that in a second. But for now, let's take a moment to celebrate the casting of Black Manta in the DC Extended Universe. Yes, it really happened. Set to star opposite Jason Momoa in 2018's Aquaman is Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. You might recognize him from the TV series The Get Down or a recent trailer for Dwayne Johnson's Baywatch movie. In any case, you'll know him as Black Manta when we dive into Aquaman in 2018. He's not the only casting discussion for Aquaman going on right now, but we'll get to that before the top 5 are over. Sticking to the world of DC films, though, some bad news. We had some game-changing news last night when Variety reported that Ben Affleck is stepping down as director of The Batman. I know, I'm sad too. The actor paraded around Live by Night's press tour promising that he is directing the movie and it is getting into good shape before production, but ultimately decided helming a gigantic feature film while wearing a bulky rubber suit, which is very uncomfortable and you have to take it off just to pee, is not the best idea. The movie is still coming and Affleck will still executive produce and star in it as of right now. But is it time to be worried about the DC Extended Universe? Lucas, your thoughts, sir?
This is getting tough. We're reporting on directors leaving these movies a little too often. There's a lot of juggling, but the universe is still finding its feet too.
We're 4 movies in already. Finding its feet, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a little scary. It's a little worrisome. Hopefully, Ben Affleck's statement was sincere and he's doing this because he feels the need to pull back. I don't see any reason for him to lie about that or anything like that. So hopefully that's the case, and we're just going to get an awesome performance out of him once we find yet another director.
I think there's a lot of directors available that could be in this. I like the idea of George Miller directing it. I like David Fincher. There's a lot of good candidates that we've talked about on Comic Book. I've got a lot of tweets about people bringing up their own suggestions.
Yeah.
But this could also be a good thing. They're obviously shaking things up. Rick Famuyiwa departed The Flash just a few months ago. There's obviously creative changes going down at Warner Brothers, at DC Films. So hopefully they're for the best.
But Aquaman is casting up and is going to start shooting soon.
Aquaman, I couldn't possibly be more excited for.
There we go.
Guys, if you want to hear our theories on the Batman and all that stuff, you can tweet us or you can go to comicbook.com/DC. It's all been picked apart there. You won't be disappointed. You know how we do it there. But back to the news. More casting news, this time on CW's corner of DC. Terry Hatcher is headed to Supergirl for a Lois and Clark reunion of sorts, seeing as Dean Cain is a member of the cast there. The details are being kept a secret, but what has made it out is that Hatcher is playing a mysterious role, which will become the big bad of Season 2. A little different from this Lois Lane we're seeing right now. Season 2 resumed last week, so she must be popping up sooner than later to start wreaking havoc on National City, but we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. You Marvel fans watching, you're not being left out of today's show. We do have a bit of news for you today. Stan Lee's cameo in The Defenders has been revealed. The man behind Marvel Comics will appear on a poster in the Netflix series, and I'm going to leave it at that. For all you spoiler haters out there, I know, I hate spoilers too, but I have to read them. It's my job. It's tough. Someone has to do it. If you want to know more, you want to see a photo of it, you can search comicbook.com for the information you seek. I promise you will find it. Back to DC, I promised you we would talk about more casting in the Aquaman film, and we will right now. The word is that Nicole Kidman is up for a role in the film, which is filming in her homeland of Australia. The actress is said to be up for the part of Arthur Curry's mother, with little other details coming. Given Black Manta's involvement, might we see a flashback of Aquaman's father being killed BVS Maggie Negan style? Or could Aquaman have a bigger role than poor Martha Wayne? And will her name be Martha? Tune in on October 5th, 2018 to find out. What do you think? Is Nicole Kidman's role going to be considerable?
I doubt it. I think that we're probably going to see her mostly as like a flashback character.
Flashpoint Nicole Kidman Batman.
No, not at all a possible chance of happening. Zero chance.
Well, before we turn it over to the comment section for questions, comments, speculation, theories, and Scott Eastwood, We're going to roll out today's new episode of Major Issues, in which Chris Killian explores the first appearance of a major comic book character. This week, we explore the origins of Ms. Marvel.
She's quite possibly Marvel's mightiest Avenger. Oh, you heard right. Miss Marvel. Hello, collectors, boys and girls alike. Welcome to Major Issues, and today we've got Miss Marvel.
Who the heck is that? Some dame in a costume. Wham!
Oh, she's way more than that. Miss Marvel was created in 1977 by Jerry and Carla Conway and John Buscema. She first pops up right here in Miss Marvel #1. Now, this isn't the first appearance of her alter ego, Carol Danvers, but it is the first time we see her in costume with superpowers, the result of being caught in an explosion with Captain Marvel. As you can tell by the cover, the issue is chock full of supporting Spider-Man characters. Scorpion, J. Jonah Jameson, Mary Jane Watson, and Peter Parker all make appearances. Back then, a cameo by Spider-Man wasn't uncommon, and usually it would help boost sales for new characters. And sometimes it wouldn't. But a cast with Spider-Man is not all she shared. Oh no. She is also a writer for the Daily Bugle, she saves J. Jonah Jameson, and she even has her own, well, you'll see.
I sensed someone behind me, planning to shoot me. If it weren't for my 7th sense, he might well succeed.
Wait, then what's her 6th sense?
I see dead people.
At the time it was published, Miss Marvel was socially progressive thanks to the feminist movement. This was reflected both by using the title Miss and later when she fights the clearly chauvinistic Triple J for equal pay.
Money, eh? 20,000.
30,
22?
30,
25?
30.
Blast it. How can I argue money with a woman? All right, 30.
And one thing more, Jonah. My name is Miss Carol Danvers.
Good thing these aren't issues we're dealing with over 40 years later.
And nothing can stop me now.
You go, girl. Still, what kind of superheroine would she be if she didn't have a skimpy outfit in a book aimed for children? Pick up this marvelous issue and add it to your collection. For Comicbook.com, I'm Chris Killian, and we'll see you next issue.
To win your copy of the first appearance of Ms. Marvel, you can go to Comicbook.com, dig up Major Issues, and enter our giveaway. It's pretty cool stuff. We do that every week, new episode every Tuesday.
And that copy of Ms. Marvel #1 is going to skyrocket in value.
Why?
Because Brie Larson is playing Carol Danvers in Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, very exciting stuff.
And then in Captain Marvel as well. So.
I did see Tyler Clark in the comment section said, is Ms. Marvel going to be the new Captain America?
No, she's not.
Why not? Why can't Captain Marvel take over?
You could build the next franchise around Captain Marvel for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you look at
maybe she's going to take it. Maybe she's going to lead the Avengers in Phase 4.
If you look at the new, Avengers cartoon.
Did he just flip flop?
Just this past
flip-flop.
weekend. Well, she's not replacing Captain America. She's not the new Captain America. You're saying, will Captain Marvel lead a new team of Avengers? Sure. She just did on the Avengers cartoon this past weekend.
Anyway,
they did a Civil War crossover. It was actually really cool.
So I kind of Tyler Clark. I think maybe. I think we both agree maybe.
I think
questions, comments, concerns. Scott Eastman, let's do it.
We've got tons of comments here, not only about Ms. Marvel, so we'll go back to Ms. Marvel if we need to.
Okay.
But you guys can ask us your questions anytime right here on Facebook or by tweeting us with hashtag CBNow. It can be 7 a.m. Atlantean time, and you can tweet us hashtag CBNow.
I'll be awake.
And we'll see it. We get alerts on our phones all hours of the day.
We don't sleep.
Yeah. No,
all right. So terrible. What are they hashtagging? What are they commenting?
So Andrew Hayes, my man, you love asking this question, and today we're finally going to answer it because we're going to stop being terrible and not answering this for you. Will we see the Black Order at Thanos' side in Infinity War? What do you think? Thanos having some sidekicks?
He can't do it alone. How can he just try to destroy Earth on his own?
You know,
I think we'll see some form of the Black Order. I don't know if we'll get every core member of it,
right,
of the group and all that, but I think we have to see some form of the Black Order.
Yeah,
in Infinity War.
We've seen in the movies already. In Guardians of the Galaxy, we saw that Thanos had a right-hand man of sorts. So I think it's absolutely possible. We've seen
Although that guy is super dead.
He's super dead,
Super.
so he's probably not going to be one of these guys.
No.
But yeah, I'd love to see one of those characters.
Unless he's
show
an
up.
owl.
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
his face is backwards.
It's completely.
No, I
backwards.
think the safe bet is that some form of the Black Widow will show up.
Yeah, at least one or two of the
Peter
members.
Dinklage is in an unannounced role. Maybe he's one of them.
There you go. There you go. All right, over on Facebook, Matt Andis asks, what are the chances of DC going to Netflix? So we obviously have our Marvel Netflix series. Any chances of DC going over there too?
I haven't heard anything about this.
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
think it will happen. I know they already have so much success on CW, whereas Marvel seems more successful on Netflix.
I think the more likely thing that we'll see is DC starting to branch out to some of the cable channels that Warner owns, like TNT and TBS. There were rumors for a
There
while
was
of
the
a Teen Titans show going to one of those channels. I think that's a little more likely than seeing a Netflix series.
I would love a live action Teen Titans show. I don't care what network.
Although there are rumors of a Watchmen show being developed for HBO, so we could see something like that as well. I think we're much more likely to see those.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be on Netflix though.
Yeah. I think Netflix is Marvel's territory right now. So for better or for worse, I mean Marvel's kicking butt.
But we have
on those
a third
Netflix
season of
shows.
Young Justice coming to Netflix, so I don't think anybody's going to complain in the meantime.
So here's a big question that I'm getting a ton of in Facebook Live right now. And Ricardo, I'm going to shout you out for asking this first, I think. Do you think Ben Affleck is going to stay on as Batman, as the actor, even beyond the Batman? So obviously, I think he's fully contracted for Justice League 1 and 2.
He's like legally
Batman,
obligated
right?
to. I'm sure he's contracted to probably 6 or 7 movies. I mean,
Right.
That's how they do it now. Whether you could do a standalone film and they'll sign you for 6 or 7 movies, and then
Your character can be scheduled to die in the first movie, and you're still
I
signing
mean,
a
how many
contract
movies
for
is
6
Aaron
movies.
Taylor Johnson has signed on for more Marvel movies?
Right.
And we're probably never going to see him again. But he's
Right.
contracted in case they decide we want him back. So then he has to go do it. I mean, tough. You're getting paid to play a superhero, but you have to do it.
Right.
I have been thinking about this all day, though. Will Ben Affleck step down as Batman? I can't imagine he would. I think he's our Batman at least for the next 3 years,
Right.
through 2020.
Right.
If things
So
don't
through the second Justice League movie.
yes, I do think so. But I can't imagine an actor of his caliber who just demands people's respect. I mean, and he deserves it with all the things he's done in bringing his career back from the questionable places it went with Geely in that time. I don't think he steps down before 2020. I think he does the Batman movie. I think he does 2 Justice Leagues. And if things are still being criticized the way they are, and they're so high pressure in the way they are now, then maybe I could see him kind of at least considering stepping back. It may have already crossed his mind because this is a pressure cooker. He looks like he's really feeling it. And for him to step down from the director's chair, that couldn't have been an easy decision.
Here's what I'm thinking about this right now is that DC went out and said, here's our 10 movies that we're going to do. And they put those all out there on the table. They have made progress on some of them they've had to take steps back on.
Right.
That's fine, and that's the nature of the movie business. Yeah. I don't see Ben giving it up entirely either. I think that he definitely had fun playing the role. You can tell when an actor is doing a role that they hate or a role that they love, and he definitely had fun doing it.
Right.
He wouldn't have come on in all of these extra capacities as writer, director, producer, actor if he didn't love this character and he didn't love playing the role. So I really do believe him when he says he's stepping back as director so that he can focus as actor. I really do believe that. And I think that the script that he and Jeff were working on together, even if that's only Jeff going forward,
Right.
I think we're in good shape
If
still.
he steps down as Batman, does the DCEU get rebooted? Or do they recast Batman? Or do they kill off Batman?
Huge can of worms. I mean, they could kill off Batman and just bring in, Dick Grayson, do a whole battle for the cowl, bring in Dick Grayson, bring in Tim Drake, bring in Azrael.
I don't know. I don't know if you have a future
Let's
Justice League.
do it.
Yeah, I don't know. You need Bruce Wayne for the Justice League.
Let's stay on the DCEU. Chris Wolf asked us over on Twitter, do we think that we could ever see the Crime Syndicate in the DCEU? So this is another way to have some very interesting alternate versions of the characters?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, as you mentioned when we were talking about this before with Jeff Johns.
Right.
I want you to explain what you explained to me, but I don't know if we're going to see groups like this popping up when there's so much more going on already and there's so much more to get to. But it's not impossible.
So here's the reason why I'm leaning a little more towards this being a possibility. It wouldn't be for further down the line. I mean, we'd probably be talking like Justice League 3 more than anything else. But the live action movies seem to be drawing stuff out of the animated movies. The animated movies of the last few years have drawn almost entirely, almost exclusively from Jeff Johns' written comics.
Which has been really awesome.
And it's been so much fun. We've gotten to see that animated universe be built up. And we had Aquaman, which had what villains? Orm and Black Mantis. Who are the villains in the Aquaman live-action movie? Orm and Black Mantis. We had the Justice League forming to take on the denizens of Darkseid. What's going to be happening in the Justice League movie?
Yeah.
I mean, so the Crime Syndicate was not just the second story arc, but a huge. They moved into a huge crossover for DC Comics. Jeff definitely loves the Crime Syndicate.
Yeah.
So there's hope, Chris. There's hope, Chris Wolf. We could see the Crime Syndicate, and it could be pretty fun.
I'm kind of skeptical of if we'll actually see it.
Ultraman. Can't you just see, though, like, Henry Cavill having to play Superman and Ultraman fighting against each other?
I can't. I don't like that idea. I don't really think I like that idea.
Amy Adams suiting up as Superwoman? Oh, man.
Can't. I don't know if I can get behind it.
Come on. All right. I mean, come on. You guys know that I love to pull out a Star Wars question when I can. And one of our loyal viewers, Jordan Evans, says, now that we're getting Star Wars story films, do you guys think that there should be, not could be, do you think there should be a Star Wars The Old Republic movie? So obviously, Knights of the Old Republic, really beloved video game and comic book and novel franchise. What do you think?
I'm just going to let you, you're the Star Wars guy. I'm not even going to take this one.
All right, well, Jordan, if I had my druthers, Star Wars The Old Republic would be going to either cable or Netflix. It would be a TV series. This is basically a whole second Star Wars universe. For those that are unfamiliar, it takes place an even longer time ago, several thousand years before the events of the Star Wars movies. And I really think that they could have a lot of fun exploring that world and seeing this battle between good and evil, showing things that have been hinted at in some of the recent Star Wars stuff, like the Jedi Mandalorian War. Like, come on, don't you want to see a bunch of Jedi against a bunch of flying jetpacked Mandalorians? Don't you want to see that, Brandon?
When I woke up this morning, that's what I said.
That was, you said.
That's exactly what I said.
All I need today
is an Old Republic Netflix series.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you. Over on Facebook Live right now, Michael J. Meister just asked, any Star Trek news about the new series? And we just did get some today, right?
I'm not following Star Trek too heavily, but I know that the big controversy in my world of Star Trek is the whole Sonequa Martin Green being cast on there and what that means for The Walking Dead.
Ooh, right.
That's
right.
the most I know.
Yeah, what does that mean for her on The Walking Dead? Traditionally, people haven't really been able to hold down two gigs with The Walking Dead.
No, I mean, they're legally not allowed to. So it could spell trouble for Sasha.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we've got that Star Trek Discovery. They did just put out a new first look at the uniforms, the captain's chair, some cool behind-the-scenes stuff. So make sure you head over to comicbook.com to check that stuff out. Let's see. We got time for one more here?
Yeah, let's do one more.
We got time for one more.
One more question.
Let's see. Another live question. We've got, we've actually been getting some questions about Jurassic World, about whether or not we liked the first movie and what we'd like to see in the second one. So let's go to some Jurassic World talk.
You know what I thought was going to happen in the second one based on the first one? And I didn't love Jurassic World. I didn't not like it, but I didn't leave the theater like, that was amazing. But the dinosaur fights were the best thing ever. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was like the Fast and Furious of dinosaur movies. Like, come on, that's a fair comparison. But
That's pretty fair, yeah.
But I wanted to see the dinosaurs be weaponized for like militarized, because I thought that's what Vincent D'Onofrio's character was getting at.
It's definitely what he was getting at.
But they're not doing that. I know.
Well,
That would have been amazing
yeah.
if there was like some way where some military was using dinosaurs as weapons and they went out of control, or we had to stop this military from world domination with dinos. That would have been amazing.
So I know this is before your time, but there was a cartoon in the 80s and a toy series called Dino Riders.
Okay, Dad, tell me more.
Where they actually militarized dinosaurs and had like laser beam helmets and all sorts of.
I asked for
glorious
freaking sharks with freaking lasers
I
attached
really
to their
think
freaking
what
heads.
we're trying to say here is we want a Dino Riders movie, a live
Give
action
me it.
Dino Riders
Give me it with
movie.
Dr. Evil in charge of them.
With Dr.
Yeah.
Evil. So if
That might be a
anybody-
little after your time.
If anybody,
All right, guys, that's all we have time for today. Jurassic World 2 can't come soon enough. Militarized dinos, we want them. If you want to talk more, hit us up on Twitter at Lucas Siegel, at Brandon Davis BD. We'd love to talk to you there. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Comic Book Now.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you. That tear makes it look like Ben killed somebody.